Happy Halloween. If you're seeing this during the Halloween season, have a safe one. If it's the next day when I post it, I don't know. But it should be within the 1 or 2 days of Halloween, my favorite holiday. And it's kind of appropriate that I do it on this day because it's kind of like scary in a sense when I'm about to talk about real quick. But first, if you're new here, thank you for stopping in. Consider liking and subscribing. And if you're an older subscriber, thank you for stopping in again and supporting the channel. Things have been slowing down a little bit, but that's usually okay with the algorithm. That's what happens here and there. I still have to find my stride, so thank you very much for supporting, and hopefully, I can take this off and turn it into something. Now let's talk about Fannon. So Fannon is one of the channels that inspired me to actually do this, right? You got Boxing Ego, early Boxing Ego, Fannon, and of course Showbiz. Started watching him, and he and I have a lot in common as far as the way our sense of humor is and things like that. In this video that I saw from Fannon recently, he really gets on Showbiz the adult and his style, right? But he brings up a good point. He's saying, well, if you're holding Gervonta Tank Davis to a higher standard, he says he had a conversation with Showbiz the adult, although it was through a burner handle, but he figures it was him, so he doesn't really know. But he's saying he did, so we're gonna go with the thing that with what he says that he did. Well, he's saying that Showbiz is saying to him, well, I hold Gervonta Tank Davis to a higher standard and I want him to be great, so I want him to move up to 140 so he can show how great he is because I think he's that great. Fanon's take on this is basically saying that you're holding him to an unfair standard. You're actually mistreating him by saying he needs to move up. And then that is mistreatment, and it could be judgmental. He's looking down because somehow now, because Showbiz has gotten so big that he thinks he's better than Gervonta Tank Davis, and he gets to dictate to him and other fighters what they should do for their legacy and what and what they should be doing because he's now reached some sort of heights. Fannon is not wrong that holding someone to a higher standard could be seen as judgmental. It's not wrong. It's actually, kind of what usually ends up happening when somebody says, I hold you to a higher standard. It could be unfair because it could push somebody to do things that they didn't want to do. And they could either hurt themselves, or if it's a sport, if it's academics, it's just, it could, if you do it the wrong way, damaging. But holding someone to a higher standard is also an opinion. It's not truth. So you cannot actually say to somebody you cannot hold them or should not hold them to a higher standard. It's how they feel. It's how Showbiz feels. And Showbiz, like me and you and everybody else, is a consumer. Gervonta Tank Davis is an athlete, but more so he's an entertainer. He puts out a product, and that product we get to dictate what we buy and we don't buy. And if Showbiz says that the way he's going to start supporting, or let's just say if that's what he's saying, I don't think he is, but let's just, for the sake of this argument, saying, I want Gervonta Tank Davis to move up because I won't buy his product unless he does. That's, as a consumer, that's his right to feel that way. And you can't tell Showbiz not to feel that way in the same way that, Fannon is saying that he shouldn't. You know what I'm saying, that dynamic there? And lastly, also, Gervonta Tank Davis didn't ask for help. He didn't ask to be defended. As a matter of fact, he does a good job of defending himself. He doesn't really need to. And on top of that, Fannon started taking cheap shots, making fun of the type of content that Showbiz does and in the style that he does it. To me, Showbiz just is like a variety show. He wants to entertain while doing what he loves. And I think because now he's reached such heights and has gotten a manager and he's a smart guy. He's educated. He has a degree. And so is Fannon, by the way. He's very educated or so at least it sounds like. I don't know if he's finished any schooling or anything, but he does break things down in a way that makes me think that he's been in business and he studied at least things that, and because he explains it in an eloquent way. He's a very smart guy. But what he lost me when he started saying that this was like they feel that they're ordained by God. He threw religion and beliefs into it, where Showbiz has never said that. He's never said anything about God, but trying to make his point stick and land, he tries to push like a God, like a religious, higher than thou angle that has never been there. As a consumer, we get to pick and dictate what we like. And if I don't like who Canelo's fighting, I'm not going to pay for it. And it's my opinion to say I hold Canelo to a higher standard. So therefore, if he's not fighting the standard of fighter that I want him to fight, or moving up to a higher weight, or whatever it is, I get to choose whether I want to keep supporting that fighter. It's my right as a consumer, as the person paying Gervonta Tank Davis or Canelo Alvarez or whomever. Anyway, Bam Rodriguez, it doesn't matter. I'm the paying customer. I'm the guy making you the money. I'm the guy allowing you to get those Rolls Royces, or at least I'm one of them. So now if I don't like what you're putting out, I get to say I'm holding you to a higher standard, in my opinion, for you to get my money. Fannon is not wrong that it could be damaging. But from what I'm seeing from Gervonta Tank Davis, I don't think he needs any help in defending himself or anything like that. Why can't we just stick to just reporting our opinion on the fighters, not the people who are also reporting on the fighters? I think deep inside it might be some jealousy. That's what I feel. I don't know. A lot of these channels have taken radical turns when they realize they can make money if they do certain things or they align themselves with a certain fighter. Certainly seems like Fannon has aligned himself, maybe not through a mutual agreement with Tank, but just himself. And he sounds unhinged sometimes when he's there. So also that's a concern. But overall, I think, yes, Fannon is correct in the sense that holding somebody to a higher standard can be damaging. But I don't think in this case it applies because Showbiz is not Tank's dad or anything like that. He can't force him to do anything. His opinion is minuscule. But he has the right to feel that opinion and say, I feel that Tank Davis, in my eyes, to be greater than what he is now because he has that potential, is to move up in weight and fight people I want him to see in my channel, and my fan base wants him to see. Obviously, we a fan base will align with you. Just like the fan base Fannon aligns with him. If you look at the comments, it's usually all pro Fannon, right? It makes sense. In the end, I think, there's another video, and I'll probably just make one more and that's it, because there's another video that dropped that, again, touches on Showbiz, and I want to do that as a separate video because it doesn't necessarily match with this one's topic, but I just thought it's kind of concerning because Fannon is not the only one by any means. It's just the one because I like Fannon so much and Showbiz so much that it was just kind of weird to see it happen, and in such a visceral way, as if he really, really was perturbed by what Showbiz was doing to Tank. It was weird. But let me know in the comments down below. Do you think it's weird? Do you think that it's, that Fannon is right, that Showbiz should stop asking a fighter to move up in weight, that he shouldn't hold him to a higher standard, that he should hold everybody to the same standard, and that he's just doing just fine? And by the way, Fannon referenced Aaron Pryor and Marvelous Marvin Hagler as two fighters that stood the same with the entire career, which he was right about one, Marvin Hagler, but Aaron Pryor has actually fought between 130 and 140. So he's been shifting between 10 pounds, just like Gervonta Tank Davis has. So that one kind of went by the wayside. But let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? Do you think that he's right? That he shouldn't really hold him to a different standard? That he should hold him to the same standard as everybody else? Or do you think that Showbiz is correct in saying his own opinion and feeling that he's right in his opinion and saying he needs to see Tank Davis grow and go to a 140 and higher maybe because he feels he's that great? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video, and I'm out. Peace, and have a happy, safe Halloween.